Hello and greetings, good night. It's me, your girl, Pammie, and welcome to week number 12 of Locs Talk Live. I want to sit with that for a minute. That means that I have been successfully doing this live, not Locs Talk in general, but Locs Talk Live. I have been doing for 3 months now, and I'm so proud of myself. 12 weeks, 3 months. 12 weeks, 3 months. 12 weeks, 3 months. So I am on Locs Talk Live, and I'm still testing out StreamYard. So this live is coming live to you via, if you look up in that left-hand corner up there, StreamYard. Great software, and I'm going to try it this way. I did a whole outline, itinerary, and so on and so forth, and da-da-da. So we're going to see how we do, right? We don't have anybody in the what's the name yet? So I'm on the TV also, so I can see the chat room from here and on my screen, because on my computer screen, on my computer screen, I'm able to see this, but it's a different way from how it's seen. Okay. It's seen differently on the screen than it is here. Throughout the day, the internet, the Wi-Fi, I guess because of the weather, has been a little weird. So I apologize in advance if anything happens with the connection. But come on in. Welcome to Locs Talk Live. My name is Pammie. Hold on, let me do my thing. Okay, now we're going to introduce myself. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Pammie. Pamela. And I'm affectionately known by my lock and natural hair family as Pammie. Hi, I am a loctician and natural hair care provider, organic natural hair care provider, and a lockologist. Loctician generally is what it is. I start, maintain, and as well support and educate my clients throughout their life journeys, long-term clients. Organic natural hair care generally is I care for your hair in its natural state as it grows out of your head, without use of major harsh chemicals, with the exception of color jobs, but usually with rinses and or organic dyes and things like that, but not bleaching, no bleaching. I don't use intensive high heat on your hair, things like that. And the third title, lockologist, simply put, I study locks. I continue to study locks, the origins as well as the evolution, because it is an ever-evolving community. There's always more to learn and understand. I pay close attention to the development and transformation that happens to locks with different types of hair and things like that, and I document it and write it down. So as I get that information, I share it with you. So when people ask me, this is happening to my hair and I don't understand what's going on, I'm capable of answering you and giving you input. So it puts your mind at ease when you know what's going on. I know it is for me, because it's just a human condition to assume the absolute worst when you have no information. So I make sure I provide that information for you so that you're not left in the dark, right? So before I'm moving forward to the next topic, I want to talk about this t-shirt that I'm wearing here. It says, "You good," a New York City kid What does that mean for me? I did a post earlier because the creators who collabed and made this shirt, this is for a campaign and fundraiser for mental health. And for me, you good. I explained it in the video, but I would share it with you. It just simply means, are you all right? Are you okay? It's a mental health check. That's what you good means to me. I will post when I edit out this video at the very end a link so you can see the video. That it's a very short video. It's like less than 90 seconds. It's just a campaigning video because I am going to be doing a charity walk on the 20th of this month, May 20th, and I'm raising funds for that walk. So that was the purpose of why I posted it. So I will post it on here, and hopefully you will send donations. Hello, Vanessa. Still traveling home from work, so service going in and out. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So let's move forward with let's move forward. So, and I would love feedback from y'all as I'm going into and navigating throughout my little outline that I created on software. So you're able to see everything that I'm talking about in this little banner that's right beneath me there, the little red thing. So generally, this now is a PSA announcement about using expired products. I did post this on my other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and now it's your turn. I said I'm going to save it and talk about it on Locs Talk Live. So if anybody has any questions, they can ask. So if you have follow-up questions, ask your questions. Okay. So generally, expired products, expired hair products. I'll give you this for an example. This, you see my lips are shining? I'm wearing a lip conditioner, right? Now, this has an expiration date on it. It's really small in the back, but I have a magnifying glass. I made sure. So everything that we use, from hair products, skincare products, makeup, it has an expiration date. Even products that you may buy that says all natural, it also expires. You're not going to eat the same food you made 2 weeks ago because it's going to start going bad, right? Well, even if it's preservatives in it, the preservatives only gives it a longer shelf life. Do not use expired hair products on your hair. Please. The date is usually on the bottom of the container, on the side of the container. When you purchase it, if it comes in the box, the date is on the outside of the box, usually on the bottom of the box, again, or the side or the top. But look for an expiration date, especially if you ordered it in the mail. Check for that before you even open it. So if it's expired, you can return and be like, this is expired. I can't use this, right? And a lot of times customer service will tell you, oh, it's okay, it's fine to use it. No, it is not. So here are some of the dangers and risk that you can run using expired hair products. First and foremost, do not be fooled by the fact that it still smells good and it doesn't smell stale or anything. That don't mean anything. Okay? That's the whole purpose of the fragrance. And a lot of times, if it still smells good like that after it's expired, then there was a dangerous ingredient in the fragrance that was put into that product. A lot of times, especially if it's long past expiration and it still smells fresh, something ain't right about that. Might be concerning. So don't be fooled by the fact that it still smells good and it doesn't smell stale. Okay? Please don't. Using expired hair products does a number of things. Causes your hair to become really dry. It can cause irritation to your scalp. Right? It causes it's prone to hair loss. And most of all, it can cause severe problems with your scalp because you can develop an infection. Now, you're wondering, how can you develop an infection by using expired hair products? Expired simply means that the preservatives that was put inside of that product to give it a longer shelf life is no longer working, right? And because it's no longer working, bacteria now has found a place to grow. Now, if it's bacteria in your product and then you put it in your hair, your scalp becomes a new home. And if it gets in there, infection is going to happen. Not only that, when preservatives stop, what used to be made to nourish your hair, it starts to break down. So the ingredients that was in the product that was meant to nourish you, they're now starting to break down, and they're transforming into something that can potentially be dangerous, okay, and detriment to your health in many ways, not just getting a scalp infection, but really getting in your bloodstream and causing problems with your health. If it's expired, it is no longer required. Throw it out and buy a new one. With that being said, if you find a fantastic product, which all the products that I use that's on my table are fantastic products. However, I buy them as I need them. I do not buy a massive amount in one sitting because I factor out and I calculate how long it's going to take me to use this amount of this product in this given time. If used properly, because a lot of times you have to factor that in too. If used properly, how long is it going to take me to get through this 8-ounce bottle of shampoo? And calculating my budget and how often I have to shop, I know how much I can purchase that's going to last me from this time to the next time I place an order. That's how I order my items. That way, nothing that's sitting on my shelf will become expired. And I don't have to rush and give away half of my stuff before I can use it. And oftentimes, the person I give it to, they have a bunch of other stuff that they're using, so they don't get to it right away. Next thing you know, it expires. And now it may be a potential danger for them. So be careful. If it's expired, it's no longer required. I'm going to look at my comments over here, see what's up here. Okay, Vanessa says, magnifying glass. Hey, I could barely see in these. I need to go back to the eye doctor. I'm going to show you a comment. So this is her comment. It says, magnifying glass, you're hilarious. Thank you. I appreciate it. But seriously, on a serious note, listen, baby, listen, Linda, my eyes don't work like they used to. So even with my glasses on, if you look at this, look how tiny that writing is. You see, that's tiny. No magnifying glass. That's little. Who wants it? You see? I'm looking at it on my TV, and that's huge, and I still can't see. No, magnifying glass. Yes, ma'am. So, moving on. Do you have any questions, Vanessa, before we move forward? No. I see there's 3 people in here. Just hit the like button as you come in, please, and thank you. Go there. All right. So let's move on to the next topic here. So what's going to happen here is I have a series of questions that were presented to me from people with locks as well as loose natural hair. And so I'm going to fumble back and forth between the two. So one question might be about locks and the next one might be about natural hair because I didn't put them in categories. So they all just listed as they came in. So I'm going to go back and forth. All right, so let's go to the first question. All right. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Hold on. Let's say hello to everybody. Hello, Lisa. Hello, girl. How you doing, girl? Hi, Vanessa. Thank you. I keep telling everyone throw it out. Cosmetics, fragrance, skincare, etc. Exactly. Throw that out. You ain't gonna eat spoiled food because if you eat that, what happens? You're gonna get sick, right? In some cases, people die. So be careful. You know. um. So let's go back. I'm gonna hide you. Go back to the question. So the question says, what brand of products do you use to maintain your locks? Me? Me. Now, this is my answer and what I use for myself and for my clients. Now, I use a couple. I've used several different products over the 8+ years that I have been locked. But I will answer you by telling you the product that I currently am using for my locks. And I had just gotten one of my orders the other day. So this is the product line that I use for my locks. And it says it's made for locks. What I love is that everything that's in this bag, I'm going to take this little card out. So everything on this little card is what is in this little bag, right? I have lock pomade. This I can use for retwist, and if you have natural hair, you can use this on your hair too. So I use this for retwist, and it's usually for my front locks, not so much in the back, because I want to kind of slick down my front edges. So this makes an excellent edge control too. Lisa can attest to that because I use it on her hair when I put her braids in. Then it comes with a pineapple scented spray conditioning oil. So you see how it's moving in here. It's very lightweight. So that means it's not going to be very heavy when it's put into my hair, what I don't want to do with that. Then there's a lock mousse. This is great for when I want to do like curls or I want to do a braid out or a twist out and have like wavy, nice locks and stuff like that. Then there's the refresher spray that comes in here. This one is aloe vera spray. Ooh, something in here spilled. Because I took it out and put it back. It's the aloe vera spray, right? Okay, it smells like apples. I think it's my shampoo. Yep. I unscrewed the bottle a little bit so the shampoo had spilled in there a little bit. And then apple cider vinegar shampoo. This is a clarifying shampoo. I'm going to just leave all this stuff on the table because now I got to clean my little bag out. And then I have a detox bar that came in here too. I'm going to use this because I need to detox my hair. I still ain't did it since I was when I did my spring cleaning. So I still have to do that. Then it came with other little gifts. So not only did it come with this toiletry bag that it came in, this is the entire lock kit. It's on the website. And I'll put it down in my descriptions when I finish editing the video later, okay? So it also comes with other gifts in it. Came with a Made for Locks edge comb and brush. Yeah, right? Then it came with a Made for Locks comb with a metal rat tail on it. Can never have too many of these, so I'm cool with that. And I love this. This is a little brush also. Now, not something I would personally use because the brushes are a little bit harder than I would like them to be. But like if you wear wigs and stuff and you want to brush to get that, after you put that, I don't know, I think it's a wax stick that people are using to like slick it down. That brush, the toughness in that will definitely be good. But I'm not fond of really hard bristle brushes for the purpose of one of the reasons for causes of traction alopecia is, brushing your hair and damaging your follicles with bristles. That's too hard. So you got to be careful with using hard bristle brushes. Now the edge brush, this is perfect because this is really medium. It's soft, so it's not gonna be something crazy. This a little bit, so you can hear that, it's a little bit too much for my blood. I wouldn't brush my hair with it because it's a little bit too hard. But yeah. Okay, so those are my favorite products to use. I do a moisture routine with the refresher spray. Then I seal it in with a little bit of the oil, and that's why I love that it comes in the form of a spray. I love the nozzle. You see the little round nozzle in the top. Comes in the form of a spray. You can spray it on, and it just sprays out in the mist, and it spreads out, so you can use a very little small amount of it. So that's perfect. And here's the good thing: every one of your orders comes with this little card offering you a 15% discount. Who turned it down a discount, right? Yeah. So with that being said, that's my favorite brand that I use for my locks. You can too. I'll put all the information down in my description when I finish editing. Okay? Any questions? Got mine on Monday. Yes, it does. See, Lisa, she's like, yeah, I got mine on Monday. She got her order because, I've been spreading the word and telling everybody, go tell it on the mountain. Yeah, I've been doing all that. Yeah, I sing a little bit. Now, watch somebody come in here and cuss me out. You better stop playing. You know you can sing. Stop playing, girl. I sing a little bit. I ain't professional no more. That's why I say I sing a little bit. A little bit. Lisa, where's Lele? I miss her. Tell her to come on in the room. Okay. So let's turn that off. Let's go to the next question. Okay. This is a great question. How often should I wash my locks or lose natural hair? There's no one answer to that question. It really depends on the individual. Now, with natural hair, typically on the perfect scale or ideal scale, if you don't live a very active lifestyle where you work outdoors as a construction worker or in the kitchen or around animals and stuff like that, I would say every 2-3 weeks. 2 weeks typically, every 2 weeks. However, there are people who have different lifestyles. Some people, they work out vigorously on a regular basis. There are people that work outdoors. So there's the elements of outdoor that's getting your hair. There are people that work with animals. I had a client who worked with dogs. She had to wash her hair often because the scent of dogs would be in her hair. You don't want, unless you want to smell like your pup all the time. Pups don't always smell good. But, a lot of times they do. But when they go to the groom and get a fresh groom, but, they don't always smell the greatest. So you do want to wash your hair regularly. Now, typically, I always recommend every 2 weeks. Any less than that, you risk washing away all of the essence that, like the oil that your scalp makes on its own and stuff like that. And you don't want to strip your hair down. So you don't want to wash too often if you don't need to. Our hair does not develop oil like straighter hair does. So we don't need to be washing it that often. But as far as odor comes from bacteria. So you have to just be careful to be preventive with building bacteria in your hair, and you won't have an odor issue with your hair unless you're working in the area or elements that is going to, like I have a client who works in a kitchen. She doesn't want her hair smelling like the food in the kitchen. And even though she covers her hair, it still smells like the food in the kitchen. So she washes her hair every 10 days or so. Another client works again with dogs. So again, same thing. Every 10 days she washes her hair. But if you work in an office environment and you're moderate, like to moderate with exercising and you're not sweating like crazy and you're not working in construction around dirt and dust all the time or a contractor, then you can get away with going 2-3 weeks, even a month between your washes, as long as you keep your hair refreshed, with your refresher sprays that come in different scents. So you're good. Okay. So that's the answer to that question. Moving to the next one first. We got 2 comments that came in. Hi, Susan. Hello, Susan. It's okay. It's all good. Don't worry about being late. You are here. That's the important part, and I'm happy to see you. Thank you so much for coming to Locs Talk Live. You know you're going to get everything on a replay. What I do want to ask y'all is, as we navigate through this, I need feedback from my audience telling me about this software that I am using to navigate through this Locs Talk Live. You know, when you see everything down at the bottom of the screen, so you know what it is I'm talking about and all of that. Give me some feedback. Let me know if it's something that I can continue with, if it makes it more comfortable and easier for you to know. Like, even if you, for example, Susan, you said you came in late. But when you came in, you see on the banner what I'm talking about. So it makes it easier for you. So you don't have to be like, what are we talking about right now? You see by the banner. So feedback, please, please, please. Okay. So the next question is, what should my at-home maintenance for my locks be between my appointments? Very simple. 2 things. Most of my clients, the newer clients, I see them every 4 to 6 weeks. So I expect you to wash your hair at least once before you come back to me. After like a month, you can wash your hair. You don't have to rush to do it. And then when you come back to me, of course, I'm going to thoroughly wash your hair. Every single appointment, your hair is getting washed. I'm not that person, oh, have your hair washed. No. Your hair's getting washed. Period. Point blank. So wash your hair at least once and properly. If you need help understanding what that means, I have a whole video step by step that tells you how to properly wash your hair so that you are rinsing it thoroughly and there's no residue or anything being left behind. And the second thing I need you to do between your visits with your loctician is regularly moisturize your hair. Develop a regular moisturizing routine. So my regular daily moisturizing routine consists of 3 things. Aloe vera gel, because I have seborrheic dermatitis, and the aloe vera gel helps bring the little excess moisture to my scalp so that my skin stays nice and hydrated. So I do aloe vera gel around my hairline, which is where it's the worst. It's not so much in the back, but it's around like the out. So I put aloe vera gel on my scalp every other day. I don't do that every day. But what I do every day is I spritz my hair with refresher spray, right? And this comes out like a very light mist. So if you can see that? Very light mist, right? And after I put a nice light mist all over my locks, and my locks are pretty long. So it also takes a little bit to get through all of my locks for that purpose. But it also is a matter of the porosity of your hair. So my hair is medium porosity, so I don't have to be going crazy with like, but this is the spray oil. As you see, it's a light mist. See how it, nice light mist. And it spreads out, and it got enough force to really do its thing. I'm going to just put this on my little horn right here. I made a lock horn. And that's it throughout your hair. Now, I oil my scalp twice, sometimes 3 times a week. It depends on the situation or what the weather is like and stuff like that. But every day I just seal in moisture when I moisturize my hair. So wash your hair at least once, and a daily routine with moisturize. Keep your hair moisturized, and yeah. The refresher is really good for keeping your hair smelling fresh. So Vanessa says, yes, hard bristles are no good. Snatched my hair out before. Yeah, hard bristles. And I'm not knocking this brush. Don't get me wrong. This brush is definitely useful for like when I am preparing hair for my loose natural clients who come to get braids or faux locks or crochets and stuff like that. This is good for me when I have to prepare the hair. Or if you are a wig wearer, like, and you just need to brush down the wig, this is very good for that, because soft bristles don't work so great on wigs, but these do. And you still have to be careful with it, because you can pluck and mess up your wig too if the bristles are too hard. But this is a good brush for that. I just don't care for like hard bristles when you're brushing to slick your hair down, because you have the tension of your hair being pulled while you're slicking it down, but you also have this scratching against the surface of your scalp. So be careful with using that on your hair. Very good for using it with wigs and weaves and stuff like that, though, but not on your hair. Okay. Yeah, make your order, Vanessa. I will text you the link later. Okay. I appreciate you always for your support and your love. So let's move down to the next question. It's a good question. How do I prevent lint transfer to my hair? Now I'm going to share how I prevent lint transfer to my hair. If you know me, you know how I have an extensive bonnet collection. So large that I share my bonnets with my kids, and still have plenty to choose from when I want to wear a different one. I can wear a different bonnet every night and still won't go through all of my bonnets. I have a huge bonnet collection, but I also have a huge head wrap collection, a lot of head wraps. You'll see me wearing a lot of head wraps during these lives now. And basically, when I'm putting clothes on, including something as light as a t-shirt as I have on, I cover my hair first. Because lint transfer is like the transfer of pet hair. You're not going to see it all happen like that when you transfer lint, unless you're rolling around where it's just a bunch of lint and dust everywhere. But over time, lint collects in your hair. Over time. I have a cat, Naomi. Many of you know her, have met her. What is this? Okay. Many of you know her and have met her, right? And she has a spot that she lays on when I'm in my kitchen and I'm creating. There's a little blanket that she stole. She stole my blanket, but I gave it to her because she loves it so much. And she took one of my towels too, I guess, because her mama sends on it. So she took it. But I made a little bed out of it and she lays on it. Now, when I initially gave it to her, there wasn't no fur. There wasn't nothing on it. It was just, a little folded, little mini blanket and a folded towel on the floor. Now, it's like so much fur on it. I ain't even trying. I'm not going to even try to wash it, because then the wash machine would just be full of cat hair, and I'm not trying to do that. We have a community shared laundry room. I ain't doing that. So to keep from transferring lint to your hair, when I'm putting on any clothing over my head, I cover my hair first. I'll put a bonnet on and then I'll put whatever shirt on and off, right? Oftentimes I'll keep a small satin scarf in my bag if I'm traveling. So like, for instance, if I have to go to the doctor and they'd be like, take everything off and put the gown on. All right, put my little scarf on and take everything off, put the gown on, proceed with my appointment, and then do the same, putting everything back on. When I sleep at night, again, I wear one of my satin lined bonnets. I don't sleep without covering my hair. Don't sleep without covering your hair. Cover your hair at night, because the lint and the cotton threads and stuff from your pillowcases and your blanket and your sheets and your pajamas can transfer to your hair from you tossing and turning. And it'll transfer even more because you're the friction of you rubbing your head as you toss and turn. So Cover your hair when dressing and undressing. Cover your hair when you're sleeping. That's all. That's how you avoid transferring lint to your hair. Let's go and check and see, are there any other comments, any questions here? No. I hope that y'all can still see me. So let's go to the next question. The next question is, do I have to retwist after every wash? No. You are not required to retwist after every wash. I do not require it. I do not recommend it because you will be over twisting your hair, and the tension of doing so can make your roots thin. And next thing you know, you got these thick, beautiful locks hanging on by threads. So no. And a lot of times, this is not with the entire lock community. It's generally with people who want to maintain a certain level of neatness to their locks. So they think they have to retwist because they don't want frizz. They don't want to lose the parts. They want that symmetrical grid and it just, whoo, they want that. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that. However, the downside of doing too much, manipulating too much, twisting too much, pulling too much, you risk hair loss and breakage, and it's not worth it. So that's why it's very important that's one of the reasons why it's important to thoroughly think it over, mull it over before you make the commitment to locks, because there's going to be days where you're going to have to deal with frizz and you're going to have to be okay with it. There are things you can do to minimize and keep your hair twisted for longer periods. Susan, she's in the chat room. She's one of my clients. When I do her retwist, we do a 2-strand twist, which is a protective lock style that helps keep her locks twisted for a longer period of time. And you can keep your protective lock styles in as long as you want. Because when you put them in, when you get a fresh retwist, there's not that high risk of them bonding together. Now, if you do it while you are between retwists and you got frizz going on, they might bond together. But not so much if you did it with a fresh retwist. Okay, so be careful. You do not need to retwist after every time you wash your hair. Okay. How often should I retwist my locks? Again, that depends. Now, for me, with my newer clients, again, I retwist their hair every 4 to 6 weeks. It depends on how I'm maintaining their hair. So if you are having a palm roll, I see them at least until their hair locks. I see them every 4 weeks, once a month. Once their hair locks, then that time spreads further apart. If they are interlocked, I see them every 6 weeks. Yeah. And here's the thing, because I also have a question here about interlocking. Keep interlocking in your mind. Table that, because I'm going to come back. I'm going to spin the block and talk more about that. Okay. But retwist anywhere between 4 weeks, once a month, to you can go as long as 3 months, as long as 6 months. It depends on your comfort level with frizz. And as you get further and further up in your lock journey, from adult locks to mature locks, like me, my locks are now mature. That is the final stage, the elder locks. That's where my locks are. I can go months between my retwists because I'm okay with my frizzy roots. I don't have a problem with my frizzy roots. So I can go. The last time I went almost 5 months from the time I did my retwist in November, right before vacation, and I didn't do it again until like the end of March. So like almost 5 months. Yeah. Okay. So that's how often you should retwist. Let's check. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? No? Okay. Okay. This is an excellent question. Can products specifically made for locks cause buildup? Absolutely. Now, this lock line that I showed you, these products, these are buildup free products. However, but wait, if you abuse them and you overuse them, they could still cause buildup. Good does not mean abuse. That's like saying, salads are good for you, and you just eat this big trough of salad. You're still going to get fat if you eat all of that. If you drink too much water, it can literally kill you. So just because it's good for you doesn't mean that you abuse it. There is a proper use for everything, including these buildup free products. So like this is a pomade, right? For one lock, I should not have this much on my finger. You see how much that is? That's a lot. That's about it. That's all I need. That's all I need. I have seen where others have said that they bought this for their hair and then they took it with them for their retwist. And this is a 4-ounce jar, and the loctician used half the jar to do their retwist. Way too much. That's going to cause buildup. It's going to turn white and flaky and all of that stuff because it's way too much of it. It's just product sitting on top of product on top of product. You just need enough to coat your hair, not to be so thick that when the air hits it, it crystallizes and turns it white. So we don't want to do that. Don't abuse it. Don't abuse it. Don't abuse it. Good question, right? Okay, let's move on down. What are the pros and cons of interlocking locks? I spun the block, and here we go. The pros and cons of interlocking locks. Most of my corporate clients with the locks opted for interlocks. And the reason for it is because they can, one, go longer periods of time without all the buildup of frizziness and stuff to their locks. And it's like instantaneous, where they don't have to do anything. They can just put the interlock in and let it be and do nothing else. And they will hang nice and neat and just chill. Now, here's the con when it comes to interlocking. If you have damage and breaking to your roots, interlocking is not for you, and you cannot continue with it because your hair will continue to break. That's why I switched from interlocking to twisting. In the beginning of my journey, I interlocked my locks, right? But one of the things I learned in trial and error in the beginning of my lock journey, and I have a project that I'm working on that's going to explain exactly what I'm talking about. There was a part of my lock journey, some of the things, especially in the beginning, the first year, I learned a lot of stuff through trial and error. Because before I got my certification as a certified loctician, I was very arrogant in thinking that my knowledge of natural hair care was enough to maintain a lock journey for myself. So I didn't put in the work of research and things like that like I should have before I started my lock journey. Now, I did the part of thinking it over and making sure that I wanted to commit to my locks, but taking care of natural hair and locks are two different things. There's a lot of different avenues as far as the products that are used and how to use them, and how it's a lot of differences there. And I learned that it's just different. Like, I was using a lot of my natural hair care products on my locks, and it made my locks very heavy. And because of my hair texture and tight, I have really soft, wavy curls, and my texture is very soft, medium soft hair, and it's easy for it to break because of the texture of my hair. And my hair is not very thick. It's not super thin either, but it's not very thick. So too much weight is definitely going to break it. So even when it was breaking, and I was under the delusion that my hair was growing away from the locks, there's no such thing as that. It's the hair breaking off away from the lock and just continuing to grow out. That's what happens. Hair doesn't just decide to grow away. It breaks first and then it continues to grow. But all of that extra hair, I was interlocking and then just wrapping that little bit of hair around it. But that was not helping. I eventually wound up having to crochet to put all the hair back when it got so thin from me continuing to interlock. And I was like, why are my back locks feeling so thin? but it was surrounded by all this hair, so I was able to put the hair back in with the crochet and everything. I learned just in time to fix it. So thank God I didn't lose any of my back locks. But if your hair is damaged in any way, you cannot interlock your hair. You should discontinue until you restore the health of your hair. Do not continue to interlock your hair. Interlocking is not for everybody or every hair type. You know, and if it's not done properly or correctly, yeah. But my reason for the damage wasn't because I was interlocking my hair. It was because I was using the wrong products in my hair in the beginning, and my hair got heavy and started breaking. And I continued to interlock my breaking and damaged hair, which you should not do. So that was the mistake that I made. I learned the hard way. And now I get to tell you and warn you so you don't have to, right? Anything I teach or educate you on isn't a lot of it. I've gone through it myself. So I'm not just telling you just to tell you, don't do that, don't do that. I'm explaining why, because I know the experience of it was like, and it's not a good experience. All right. The next question, what happens if residue is left behind after washing my hair? A lot. It's important that when you're washing your hair that you thoroughly rinse your hair. And whether your hair is locked or loose natural, you have to make sure you thoroughly rinse your hair. Think of a sponge. When you're cleaning the sponge, you can't just run water on it and say it's cool. No, you have to run it under the water. You got to squeeze and get all that stuff out. Run it under the water and squeeze it and get all that stuff out. The same thing you have to do when you are rinsing your hair. Whether you have locks or loose natural hair, it doesn't matter. What happens is if you leave residue in your hair, number one, your hair is not going to dry properly. So now there's the risk of bacteria and mold and mildew building up in your hair. And that can happen whether you have locks or loose natural hair. It doesn't matter. I've met many people that don't have locks and their hair smells like mildew, like that old mop smell. Yeah. No. And that smell is there because of bacteria. And oftentimes you will smell that also, like if they sweat. If a person sweats and they have bacteria build up in their hair, what happens is as the sweat dries, it joins with that bacteria and it creates that foul odor. That's why you smell that foul odor. And oftentimes when you're sweating and you have that bacteria living in your hair, that bacteria can go with the sweat down into your hair follicles and cause infection. So you got to be very careful when you're rinsing your hair out. Rinse all the soap out. Rinse all the conditioner out. And this is why I'm so adamant about making sure you understand what kind of ingredients are in your conditioners, because again, like 85 to 90% of conditioners have silicone in it. So read those labels. That silicone creates that clear barrier that you don't even know is there, and it builds up on your hair and it's hard to clean it out. Do not leave residue in your hair. It won't dry properly. If residue is left in your hair and it dries, your hair can become dull, dry, brittle, start to break, and all of those different things. You don't want that to happen either. And your hair, again, because you have the residue there, there's a buildup there. It causes buildup, and that creates a barrier. So like when you're moisturizing, the moisture's not getting in because it can't get past the barrier. Thoroughly rinse your hair out. It's very important when you're washing. Excellent question. Is beeswax honey good to use on my locks? I'm not going to say yes or no because that's really up to the individual, but I will say this. I do not recommend it, and I will say why. I don't use it, and I won't use it on any of my clients, because wax and honey are prone to massive buildup, and they are lint and dirt magnets because of the sticky residue-ish feeling of it, and it gets stuck in your hair. So I don't believe that is good for your hair. And not only that, because of the way it is, wax, again, if you put water on top of wax, you see how it beads up and just kind of roll off. So beeswax creates a barrier. What happens when you have a barrier on top of your hair? Moisture can't get in. So you can't moisturize your hair properly. So no, me, I don't recommend using it. I'm not going to say if it is or isn't good for your hair. That's up to you to decide. But I will give you the information to let you know what things can happen. And I'm all about preventive care. So if it's something that can potentially, that has a high potential of causing damage, and that does, because without moisture, your hair will get dry, break, and you lose your hair. So, no. um, any other questions yet? No? Okay. Continuing down. What happens if I don't moisturize often? Dehydration, dryness. And I moisturize my hair regularly. So if I fall off, my hair is going to tell me very quickly, what the hell you doing? Give us something. What are you doing? We need moisture. Stop playing. If you're not accustomed to it at all, and this is a person that I see, especially during consultations, when I get them, my hair doesn't go. My hair doesn't grow. My hair doesn't grow. Again, your hair grows. Let's talk about what your routines are. Then I will find out later that they don't moisturize their hair on a regular basis. Or they had the notion that moisturizing their hair meant putting a lot of oil in it. Oil is a lubricant, not a moisturizer. Moisturizer is water based. Okay. Oil is a lubricant that can seal that moisture in because it's a little bit thicker, so it can seal it in and keep the moisture from evaporating off of your hair. But oil is not a moisturizer. It aids in moisturizing, but it's not a moisturizer. Okay. How often should I detox my locks? This is a question I get from all of my lock clients when they first start their journey. And I have a great deal of lock clients who also had already started their locks with another loctician. And for whatever reason, they were no longer going to that loctician, whether it was because the loctician moved away or they moved away or there was just, clashing personalities that didn't work out. Whatever the reason, they were no longer seeing them. They were seeking new representation to take care of their hair. And initially, when I get a client that's already locked, I will ask them when the last time they had a detox. And they'll tell me. And that's when they'll go into, well, I do a detox once a month. And I'm like, whoa, 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 way too much. The reason why I asked them when the last time they had a detox is because if you already had locks, I do a detox on your locks before. That's going to automatically have to be added to your first visit with me. You got to do a detox to make sure whatever was in your hair gets cleansed out. So we starting with a clean slate. But to answer this question right here, how often should you detox? In a perfect world, if you're not doing crazy stuff and rolling around in mud and doing, crazy stuff, you shouldn't have to detox any more than twice a year. In many cases, once a year. I do it twice a year for two reasons. Because I do a detox after I do my spring cleaning because I don't cover my hair. So like dust bunnies and whatever. And then at the end of the year, because after I got through the summer and the fall and stuff, all of the elements of outside is in my hair and I want it gone. Get out. Bye. So you should not detox your hair more than once to two times per year, not every month. Now, here's the upside. This vegan lock detox bar is so gentle, you can actually use it more than once or twice in a year. So again, if you are a person who works out vigorously and you sweat like crazy, or you work in the job of construction and stuff like that, you can. And I would recommend using it like once every other month, not every month, but every other month will be fine with that because it's gentle, so it's not crazy and it's not going to strip your hair like crazy. So yeah. But if you're doing the one that you see on here where people put apple cider vinegar and baking soda and all of this, you should not do that more than once or twice a year. No. Okay. Let me go. Got 4 comments here. All right. Vanessa says there's a mousse curl routine where people go as long as 7 to 10 days without wetting their hair. Telling you I can't do that with my psoriasis. I last 3 days before I have to redo it. Now there are people, yeah, it is a moisturizing mousse that will allow people to be able to style their hair and go 7 to 10 days without wetting it, but they can still moisturize it. Because you got to understand, with this refresher spray, it's just a light mist, so it's not going to wet your hair, but it's just going to supply enough moisture to wake it up. So if you did a curl mousse or whatever, you could just to wake it up a little bit, but nothing that's going to disturb or mess up your curls. So it's not per se going completely dry from 7 to 10 days, but actually just not having to do the reset with the mousse and all of that and washing and all of that so often. But you could still do a light mist of moisture just to, if you think about what a person with a plant and they, spray mist on the leaves of the plant, all you need is a little bit, nothing crazy that's going to be dripping and going, all of that. Now, with your scalp issues, you definitely need more moisture to your scalp. It doesn't necessarily have to be to your hair. You could separate your hair and put aloe vera gel directly on your scalp without disturbing your hair at all. So you're still able to do it. It's just a matter and technique, okay? Next question. The detoxing is for both loose, natural, and locked hair. Yes, and that's the next question. So I'm going to answer that in a second, okay? Sugar, then I will do that with refresher spray. Yeah, you can. You absolutely can refresh your hair. Just don't overdo it where you're disturbing your curls. You know what I mean? All right, so let's go back to questions. And you hit the nail on the head, Vanessa. You asked the question. Can I detox loose natural hair? Yes, you can detox your loose natural hair. Again, this bar can we also detox your loose natural hair. I've had a few clients where I started their lock journey. Not everyone, but a few clients who, they did a lot with products and stuff in their hair. And I did a detox. And I did it with that. You can detox your natural hair. You do not have to have locks to get a detox. Because a detox is to cleanse debris and product and stuff out of your hair. So whether you have locks or loose natural hair, you can detox your hair. Yes. Okay. This was an excellent question. So this is a person with loose natural hair. They asked me this question. No, not loose natural hair. She had a relaxer in her hair. And someone told her that they can retexturize her hair and bring it back to its natural version hair. No, you can't. So the question was, can my chemically treated hair be retexturized back to my natural hair? No. 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 I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. No. With a relaxer, absolutely not. A relaxer removes texture from your hair. Once it's removed, you can't put it back. A texturizer removes texture from your hair. Once it's removed, you can't put it back. Not only does it change your curl pattern, but it also changes the thickness of your hair. So you cannot put texture back in your hair. Once your hair is relaxed and you want to go back to your natural hair, you can do a chop and grow, which is as your hair grows out, you're cutting off the chemically treated hair. Or you can do a big chop and just cut it all off right in one shot. If you have the mental capacity to do so, do the big chop. If you do not, grow it out, cut, grow it out, cut. And you're just cutting it as you grow it out. And once you get to a decent length that you can live with, then you cut the rest of it off. But you cannot. And if somebody ever tells you, yeah, I can put it back, no, they cannot. and they just stole your money. You cannot replace something that was naturally yours to begin with. No, 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 no. You can't put texture back in somebody's hair after you've chemically treated it with a relaxer or texturizer or Jerry curl. These days they call it a Gina curl, the Jerry curl. No, you can't put texture back. Okay. Okay, this reiterates what I was talking about earlier about the misconstrued notion that you can use oil to moisturize your hair. You can use oil to help moisturize your hair using it as a sealant and things like that. Or in addition to water-based moisturizer, you can use it on your hair or scalp. But oil by itself is not a moisturizer. If you have dry scalp and you just oil your scalp without even using any kind of a moisturizer, you just sealed in dryness. So whatever dry issue is going on, like flaking or dandruff or something, it's going to get worse. A lot worse because you're using oil and you're sealing that dryness in. And now there's no way for moisture to get in because oil cannot be penetrated by water. That's why it floats on top. Scientific fact. Mm-hmm. I think this is the last question. What is the safest way to color my hair? Two ways. A vegan rinse or the temporary color wax or pomade that you can put on your hair and wash out. That's the safest way to color your hair. Rinse, temporary, right? Or the color spray that you put in your hair. I don't recommend the color spray because it has an alcohol in it, so it can make your hair really dry. So that's not something I would use, but the safest way, the two safest ways for me is the color rinse, a vegan color rinse, the temporary pomade, and a close third is henna. But henna can also be harmful because not everybody can withstand even though it's organic ingredients, people still have allergies. So you got to be careful with that. You still got to do a strand test to make sure that you don't have allergies to the ingredients that's mixed in with henna. So that's answering all the questions. It's been an hour. If you have any additional questions, please put them here in the comments. All right, send me pictures. Okay. So what's your feedback on the software that I'm using? Like, you see the little bar down here. You're seeing all of the questions as they come up and things like that. Is it good? Is it, what's going on? Talk to me. Talk to me. Let me just do my last little thing. Go back to the top here. Give me a second. Banner. Okay, we can change that now. So, talk to me. Did you enjoy this Locs Talk live? Was it informative in a way that even if you came in the middle of the conversation because of the banners here below showing what I was generally talking about at the time, is working out for you? Yeah. So we made it to the end. I don't see any additional questions here in the comments. So I'm going to leave you with this life lesson. And it's about letting go. So in the beginning, I did a PSA about using expired products on your hair and how it's very important that you do not do that because of it becoming toxic. It can cause irritation to your scalp. It can cause hair loss and breakage and dryness and dullness and scalp infections because the bacteria now is growing in it. Because the reason why it expired is because the preservatives are no longer working. Now, using that metaphorically as an analogy to letting go of things and people in your life is, don't proceed past the expiration date. There are some things and people in your life that are there for a season. And once that season has passed, the preservatives that was keeping it in your life for the time that it needed to be in your life has now expired. And it's that time. And oftentimes we find it difficult to let go or throw it away because it's still product in the bottle. So I'm going to use this. I'm not going to waste my money, or they say, I'm going to stick to this relationship and or job and or whatever because I invested too much time into it and I'm not done. But it's done with you because staying might be toxic. It can cause you to have health issues and things like that. So you got to know when that season has come to its end, when the expiration has come to pass. The preservatives are no longer preserving, and it's time to let go and move on. So that is the lesson that I leave you with in the end. Be okay with letting go. The preservatives are gone. If it is expired, it is no longer required. Um, Thank you for joining me this week for Locs Talk Live. 12 successful weeks, and I'm getting more and more comfortable. Even the fact that I'm in the room by myself and I'm talking and stuff. One of my mental health issues, I'm sorry, my throat is starting to bother me a little bit. One of my mental health issues is social anxiety. So if I'm in a room full of unfamiliar people, I'm not comfortable just being comfortable. I'm comfortable right now talking to you because I'm in my space, my happy place. So it's not hard for me to be comfortable talking to you. Um, but if I'm in a space surrounded by people and the energy is unfamiliar to me that I don't recognize, and it could be a mixture and array because I feel people's energy very well. Um, and when it's mixed up, it makes it difficult for me to adjust to be in a place of comfort. And I don't like to keep overusing the word comfort because a lot of times I'm being transparent and vulnerable. And one of the things in sharing one of my um, mental difficulties is with anxiety when I'm in unfamiliar surroundings. I also suffer from agoraphobia, which is, if I'm in a place or setting that um, I can't control or gain control of, um, or that can potentially make me feel embarrassed, or, I don't like that feeling, which is why I'm not a huge fan of flying on airplanes, especially lately. I see these videos with people acting batshit crazy on the plane. Like, what are you doing? That would make me go insane because now I can't get off. I can't move away from what's going on so that I can collect myself. And I don't like that. I can't do crowds. Big crowds is slow. I have never been to a concert. As much as I would love to go to one, it's too many people and too much going on, and it can be very overwhelming for me. So I am enjoying being in my controlled space, but able to still develop an audience where I can talk to you in a place where I'm comfortable to be open and transparent. So it's been grand. I doubted myself for a whole year before I decided, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to do it. I doubted myself a year prior to me saying, I don't know if I can do YouTube videos. And I did that for a whole year. And now I'm 3 months into doing it live. where I can interact with you right here in front of me. That means something to me. So thank you so much for joining me this week. And I hope to see you next week. I will be consistent and persistent and showing up every week as long as you come and you join me and we do this together. Okay. Thank you again, Vanessa, Lisa, Susan, for coming in and seeing me on here tonight. Um, that's it. So, toodaloo. Bye.